What's up everyone? Today I'm going to be teaching you how you can make your very first custom pattern from absolutely scratch. First off, we're going to need a couple things. You're going to need an old garment, which in my case is going to be this hoodie that I thrifted for $3. And you're going to need a trusty seam ripper. First step, we're going to take this hoodie apart and try to be as careful as possible to not tear anything. Make sure that it's a piece of clothes that you like how it fits, or if there's some details that you don't like about it, make sure to write them down or take a photo of how the hoodie fits you. So this is how we're looking after taking everything apart and giving everything a good iron. We have my front and back panels here, arm panel, the hood, and then we have the waistband, which is this stretchy material, and then the cuff. I think the only things I'm going to change is I'm going to make this hood a little bit bigger. So instead of having a triangle point, I'm just gonna make it straight. So that'll add a little bit more material to the hood. It'll sit a little bit better, hopefully. And then I'm gonna make this front panel and back panel just a little bit shorter. I'll maybe take off an inch and a half. That way it'll sit a little bit better on the waistband. So now we're gonna get the jersey I'm gonna use and start tracing out my panels. We're starting with our hood panel. So I folded it in half. I can double the pattern and it's on the fold here as well. So I'm gonna trace it out, but I'm gonna make this straight angle. So we're gonna add quite a bit of material on each side of this hood, which should give it a little bit more depth when you put it on. So here's my arm panel. I laid down and I gave it another press on top of the material, because you can see here it's not exactly straight, and so you can press it down and try to straighten it out as much as possible. Equally, I think I'm gonna trace the lines with a ruler. So just mark the corners and then trace everything with a ruler. So here's my back panel. I have it folded in half. That way I can cut it on the fold. So I'm just gonna trace it out and I'm gonna take off an inch. So here I'm just gonna make sure that my back panel is the same length as my front. And so how you do that is you line up where the sleeves attach. So this little tip, you line this tip up with this tip, and then you line this up, mark about there. Draw a straight line. So I have this ribbed elastic. I'm gonna grab my elastic bits. Now these are kind of they don't have very much structure. So instead of tracing them on, I'm just gonna get the measurements. Now we have to do the cuffs for the sleeves. I think it has a slight taper on these sides, so it squeezes a little bit better. Try my best to imitate that. And there we got both of them. So now that we have everything cut out, we should be looking something like this with our front panel. It's folded in half, back panel also folded in half. We have our pocket, we have our waistband, which is of the stretchy material, both of our sleeves, and both of the cuffs also with the stretchy material, and then lastly our hood. So now that we have everything cut out, it's time to start assembling. Let's pin it up and start sewing. So first off, we're gonna start with our front and back panel, and we're gonna lay them on top of each other, good sides facing. We're gonna pin up here, here, here. I have everything pinned up. I'm gonna stitch it all up just with a straight stitch, and I'm gonna use a 1/4 inch seam allowance because that's how I cut the panels out for. And then I'm gonna finish the edges, so I'm just gonna serge them. If you don't have a serger, you can just do a zigzag stitch. So this is how we should be looking. We have all of our edges finished. I just zigzagged them. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it inside out. We're gonna top stitch up here on the shoulders. So we're gonna hit a little top stitch, folding that extra material to the back. And this is how you should be looking with the top stitch up here. It just adds a little bit of structure. Now we're gonna grab both of our sleeves and these cuffs that we made. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take our sleeve and we're gonna fold it in half the long way, like that, and we're gonna sew on this edge. So this is what we should be looking like. You should have both of your sleeves sewn up here and then zigzag or serge the edges. And then with your cuffs, all I did was fold it in half. And we have like these angles here. And then as you can see with this one, all I did was fold it in half again, and then you'll get your cuff. It tapers down here. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pin the cuff onto the sleeve. This is how we're looking all pinned up. So I just put this cuff inside the sleeve, put it in like that, and I pinned up the edges, and I put a bunch of pins in just so the stretch could be pretty even, because the cuff is quite a bit smaller than the opening of the sleeve. I finished up this sleeve, so I sewed it on, finished the edges, and then I did a little top stitch, but it's optional. I did a top stitch here, folding everything up. So just have a little bit more structure, and I think it looks really clean. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for the other sleeve, and then we'll attach it to the body. Now that we have both of our sleeves done, we're gonna take the body and we're gonna flip it inside out. And then we're gonna take each of our sleeves and place them on the inside, something like this. And we're gonna line up this seam with this seam here. And we're gonna pin it all up. Let me repeat it once again. So we have our sleeve on the inside. So we'll take this sleeve and put it right side facing out, put it on the inside, and then line it up. With that, it's definitely looking like a hoodie now. We got the arms on. I think it's time to do the hood. Let's put this away for a sec. So here's our hood panel. We're gonna fold it in half like this. We're gonna sew these curves and then flip it inside out, and then we'll have the hood. Now that we have our hood ready, we're gonna pin it up to the neck opening. This is how we're looking all pinned up. I'm gonna sew this up real quick and hit a zigzag, and we should be almost done. So here I have the pocket all pinned up. I'm gonna stitch it on real quick, and then we're gonna attach the waistband. So I have all of our waistband pinned up. It honestly took a while, just have a lot of patience to pin it up. I'm gonna give it a sew, and then we should be done. With that, we have a final product. Now comes the fun part. We get to try it on, see if it was worth all the process. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I think it fits pretty well. This was my first hoodie ever, so pretty happy with how well I did. And honestly, it didn't take me that long. Normally a project takes me like 3 to 4 days, and this one was only a day's work, so that was quite nice. And now I have the pattern, and I know how to make a hoodie. I hope you learned something from the video. All of my first patterns I did this way with this method. And it's honestly just a great way to learn how to make something and just to start making clothes. So I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Peace.